Good morning to everyone in Platt House, and of course for those of you in the other lesser houses who may be tuning in this morning. Welcome to the first round of House Assemblies of 2021, and I wish you all a Happy New Year. And so here we all are again, at home, with seemingly nowhere to go except meeting online for lessons. Being disconnected from Hume is just as difficult for your teachers as it is for you. And it does somehow feel harder this time around, despite us knowing that we will all be reunited before too long. Having had the autumn term in school has reminded us all in Platt House just how lucky we are to be part of the Hume community that is both supportive and inspiring. I'm reminded of these lines from a famous poem called Solitude that encourage us to keep our spirits up amidst challenging times. Laugh, and the world laughs with you. Weep, and you weep alone. For the sad old earth must borrow its mirth, but has trouble enough of its own. Sing, and the hills will answer. Sigh, it is lost on the air. The echoes bound to a joyful sound, but shrink from voicing care. The run of house events that we usually enjoy in the autumn term have largely had to be suspended due to the COVID bubbling system and of course because of social distancing. Mince pie eating competition, inter-house chess, all on hold. But normal service on house events will resume as soon as it is possible and safe for us to do so. Outdoor sporting inter-house events have taken place, and Platt has had some fantastic success in those and contributed to our excellent house point score. Congratulations to all of those who've taken part. Please to remember to submit any house points you receive whilst doing remote learning, and remember that every one counts. We are hoping to be able to hold more house events in the summer term, and some, such as the biannual Hume's Got Talent competition, will be held next year. Now, I know that Mr. Chesterton was really keen to sing We Are the Champions on the main hall stage to show his prodigious singing talent. I and many other staff have been treated to the wonderful singing voice of Mr. Chesterton down the years, but unfortunately for him and for Asherton, it'll be a well out of date moment to celebrate their one-off fluke victory last year of the Needham Trophy. It seems that so far things are looking really good for Platt on the Needham Trophy front, with our house leading the pack by a considerable margin. We are followed by Lees, Asherton and poor old Hume and thus poor Mr. Grant languishing back in last place. I have high hopes that Mrs. Longley's Lees house will be unable to overtake Platt, particularly because there are currently no cake sales planned that she can hijack the rules with. Platt's status as leaders this term is reflected in our success in the excellent Race to Ghana scheme organised by Mr. Hurst. Platt is currently in the lead, having clocked up an incredible 285 miles run. Our biggest contributors to Marley so far have been Liam Brophy and Neve Nolan. Well done to you two, and indeed to all Platt students who contributed to this great scheme to keep us all moving during the lockdown. Hannah Lillis and Francis Dyson, this year's excellent Platt house captains, are currently seeking applications for house representatives, one to represent each year for each house. This is a fantastic opportunity for you to get involved in house events, to steer house events, and for you to represent your forms and peers. You could mail either of those two students directly or email me expressing your interest, and I'll forward your mail onto my house captains. And whilst I have you as a captive audience, I will share with you once more my love of poetry and leave you with the inevitable and obligatory inspirational poem. This poem is by an American poet called Douglas Malloch. And in this poem called Good Timber, he speaks of how the greater the challenges that life throws at you, the greater the person becomes. He uses the metaphor of trees growing. He tells us that challenge and overcoming difficulty are part of the natural order of life that shapes and moulds us to become better and fully formed humans. So listen carefully. The tree that never had to fight for sun and sky and air and light, but stood out in the open plain and always got its share of rain, never became a forest king, but lived and died a scrubby thing. The man who never had to toil to gain and farm his patch of soil, who never had to win his share of sun and sky and light and air, never became a great man, but lived and died as he began. Good timber does not grow with ease. The stronger wind, the stronger trees, the further sky, the greater length, the more the storm, the more the strength. By sun and cold, by rain and snow, in trees and men, good timbers grow. Where thickest lies the forest growth, we find the strongest of both. And they hold counsel with the stars, whose broken branches show the scars of many winds and much of strife. This is the common law.